Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybrook Family Farm. So last night there was a pretty decent storm that rolled through. It wasn't the worst storm that we've had here, but it wasn't, you know, a minor thing. It did wake me up a couple times because there was some thunder and some lightning and that sort of a thing. And I did hear a loud bang, but I thought that it was, nothing major. I just assumed that it was a loud clap of thunder. But so earlier today, I was out in the woods looking for some mushrooms because it recently has rained some, and I have found some turkey tails up in the woods. So I figured I would just check and see if there's any ready to be harvested. So which there was, which was great. But so then I just decided that I was just going to meander up into the woods and look around, see if I could find more mushrooms, which I found more, and check on berries and just take a look around. It's something to do. And I noticed there was a somewhat decent sized cherry tree that had actually fallen down in the woods. And it really got me thinking and stuff. The cherry tree was probably maybe like 16 inches in diameter. So not tiny, but not, huge. We do have some that are quite large. Um, but it didn't take out any other trees. It actually just fell onto a already cleared area that had just a bunch of like wild blackberries growing on. So really not a big deal. It didn't take anything out or anything. But after finding that tree, I kept thinking about all of the things that we can use that tree for. Like, it obviously is not going to be used for firewood this year because the tree is still very much alive. Like, the leaves haven't even like started like curling up and cinching off and drying and dying and stuff. Because I mean, it literally just happened last night and stuff. And we know that for sure because where it landed at, the tip of it is actually right by the barn. So it's very obvious that it wasn't there before. Um, but anyways, so I was thinking about that tree and all of the different things that we're going to use it for. Like that tree, we are going to next year, that's, we're going to cut it up at some point this year and stuff and work on drying it. But that's going to be a lot of firewood for us for next year. And I was thinking about too how, since it is a hardwood, we could inoculate mushrooms in it and we could do all of these different things with the tree. And then I noticed as I walked down to the end of the tree that there was actually ripe cherries on it. And it's just wild black cherries, so they're pretty tart. They're not that great and stuff. But I was thinking about that I like to, make chutneys and different things. And I could use the cherries in the chutneys to add that different zing of flavor and just a different kick to it. And worst comes to worst, if I decide I don't want to do anything with the cherries, I could always, feed them to the turkeys or the chickens. They'll all eat them and stuff. But while I was standing there at the tree, I was looking at it, and it looked remarkably healthy. Like there wasn't like massive amounts of poison ivy growing up it. There was nothing. Like it looked almost like it was a perfect tree. There was nothing leaned up against it where it was at or anything of the sort. So it seems kind of bizarre that it fell because it was really healthy looking and stuff. And there's a lot of trees that are in our woods that are not very good looking, not very healthy looking, that are just like hanging by pixie dust. I mean, I don't even know how they're still standing. Um, but it got me thinking about, in life, how there's times that even the strongest of us can become very broken feeling, and due to life circumstances and that sort of a thing, um, it's very easy to become broken and stuff, like mentally, emotionally, and even physically and stuff. And like I know for me, like I've been broken down a lot of different times throughout my life. I don't try to hide the fact that I've struggled with depression throughout my life for since I was young. I also have really bad anxiety, and I'm not very good in social settings. It could be from being homeschooled, it could be from a million different things. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. I've made it to being 31 without having to have massive amounts of help. So I mean, just gonna keep being weird, I guess. Um, but I've struggled mentally and emotionally with a lot of things throughout my life, and you know, and physically too, like with having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and having injuries and different things that just it falls apart on you and stuff. It's very like I'm no stranger to feeling completely broken, is what I'm trying to say. Like it's not an easy path to go on. Like life is hard for everybody, but it's even harder when you have cards stacked against you that make you feel broken, and you have people that you've surrounded yourself with, the wrong people at different times that really aid in making you feel broken and stuff. But like when I was touching the tree and feeling it and that sort of a thing, I am one of them tree hugging weirdos. I just kept thinking about like the sadness of that tree and how it felt broken in that moment and stuff. And it actually, like, to be completely honest, it kind of teared me up a little bit because, like, from the outside, I look like somebody that, if I have long pants on and I'm, hiding my ankle braces and, you don't see my knees being all like bowed and wonky and messed up and stuff, like, I can pass for somebody that's very strong and normal and not broken. But the reality of it is I live with an invisible, like, disability and ailments and stuff that make it so that way I feel broken on the daily. But, like, with that tree, it looked perfectly fine on the outside and stuff. Like, I don't know what caused it to fall. I mean, it could have been wind or whatever, but it seems awful bizarre because the tree looks perfect and stuff. But I was sensing, like, how broken the tree felt, everything. And I, like, as silly as it is, I was talking to the tree and stuff and explaining to the tree that, like, your life isn't over. Like, we're going to find so many different things to do with you because of you being broken. Like, even though you're broken, there's still so much use and so much purpose and stuff. Because not only is the cherries going to either feed our livestock, feed wild birds, or feed us and stuff this year, because they're already mostly ripe, and they will continue to ripen as the tree, starts dying and stuff. And the wood will also serve as a purpose of heating our home and, being able to cook on and that sort of a thing. But it also will be able to grow new life for us. We can inoculate the logs and grow mushrooms from it. So not only will the tree provide us with food this year, but it'll also, for years to come, up to like 5 years from now, could easily provide us with mushrooms to eat and stuff. And that's, a nice protein source and stuff. And, like, there's even part of the limbs that I can use to build neat stuff. I really like to use actual, like, natural foraged things to build with. So there's tons of possibilities of things that I can do with this tree and stuff. But I was thinking about how, like, from our own perspective, it's very easy to feel broken. But if you switch the perspective and look at yourself through somebody else's shoes, it's easy to look at yourself and realize, okay, I might not be able to do this, but I can do this, or I can do that, or I can do this, that, and the other, even though I can't do these things. Like, for me, whenever I'm laid up physically due to being hurt or whatever, I'm constantly seeking out different ways that I can be, of service to humanity, and even just to be helpful to Tracy and to be helpful in our home and stuff. And a lot of times it's coming up with different things with my mind, creating different ideas, coming up with new recipes and trying new breads and doing different things that don't necessarily require, my physical body and stuff. Even if it's just I sit there and I research stuff until, I'm healed. Like, there's always something that you can do even when you're, physically broken. And when you're emotionally or mentally broken at a time period, that's when you need to really rely on your physical body to do stuff. Because using the broken part of you is really hard. But if you use the fixed part of you, it can heal the broken parts, if that makes any sense. I know for me, like, when I've struggled a lot, like wintertime is no joke. Like, it is really, really hard for me because I love to be outside all of the time and stuff. And I love seeing nature and everything that is growing and that sort of a thing. But in wintertime, it is very hard for me to not become, like, actually severely depressed because everything is just, it's dead. I can't do my normal coping mechanisms that help stave off depression. I can't be outside for super long and, be in the garden and doing different things. So it's very, wintertime can be very challenging for me emotionally. But I found one thing that really helps me is during those times to start exercising, to use my physical body and stuff, to do different things physically, because using the fixed part heals the broken. Like, I don't know how else to explain it besides, that. Like, I don't know. So when I seen that tree, it really touched me because, in the tree's perspective, it's useless. It's dead. It's not going to be able to do anything anymore. And it's, essentially worthless and stuff. It failed at its mission of being a tree and stuff. But from a human's perspective, I can see that tree, even though it died and it's not going to create a habitat anymore for birds or squirrels or anything, and it's not going to create food for them again in the same way as it is used to, that tree now can be turned into so many other good things and so many other purposes and stuff. And that, from its perspective, it's broken. But from my perspective, I've just won a lot and stuff. Like, it's, made it so that way we have a lot more wood to heat our stove. It's providing us with sustenance and safety and security and different things, it's a blessing and stuff. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys, that sometimes even when you're broken, if you could look at yourself from another perspective or even through the eyes of another person, you might be able to see the same thing that I seen with that tree that was broken and stuff. Yeah. If you're enjoying my content, please give these videos a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help our channel grow. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.